What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp here for the Wrestling Inc. podcast. WrestleMania week, programming note just ahead of time. You may have noticed we didn't have our Wednesday show last night. That has been moved to tomorrow night for at least this week for NXT TakeOver Dallas. Also, we will have a Sunday post-WrestleMania show with Vince Russo and, of course, post-Raw. I am here with Rob McCarron. Rob, my friend, how has your WrestleMania week been?
WrestleMania week is kicking off. It's a solid start so far. I'm excited for all the shows, excited to follow along to them. And this is the best time of year, right? This is the best time of year.
It's been a busy week for me. I was able to get out of the house for about 2 hours and I was forced to shop, unfortunately. I hate shopping for things.
You're going to have to shop for some Band-Aids here pretty soon.
Yeah, I got cut Sunday. Or no, it was Tuesday morning at the gym. Tuesday morning.
You know what I'm going to have to start shopping for? Yeah.
What is it?
You got cut. I'm going to have to start shopping for some hats, it looks like.
Yeah, although CM Punk is not fighting at UFC 200 like I thought.
Not UFC 200, but you saw the other news happening this week about the UFC.
What's that?
They're coming back to Chicago in July.
Ooh. Well, he's not fighting on that card.
Yeah, but I'm getting more nervous because I'm sure with all this talk that there might have been plans for him to fight on UFC in Chicago. And if they were planning like we want this guy to fight on that show, it's giving me more of a pause to think they might actually make it happen. I'm not in the woods, so to speak. There's no fight announced. He's posting pictures of things being taken out of his body, so he's far from being in the cage. So I don't know. I'm nervous about it, but I'll get confident here pretty soon that CM Punk won't actually fight in the UFC again. For those who may not have, heard our talking about this before.
Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
He wants to fight 2 times this year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's got to do the first one. He's got to do the first one. So let's calm down. Let's take it easy. For those of you who are unfamiliar with, I have said for a year and a half now that if CM Punk ever fights in the UFC, I will eat my hat because I don't think it's going to happen. And this is not a shot at CM Punk. He's obviously a motivated individual. This guy got to WWE, the top of WWE, all because of him, because the guys who were in charge didn't believe in this guy, but he made it happen. CM Punk is super motivated. He can make things happen. But at his age, with his injuries, with his level of skill, which is not very high, I don't believe it's ever going to happen. I just think there's too much that could go in his way, and I don't know if it's ever going to happen fighting in the UFC. So that's my stance. Nothing against him.
A laughable thing that I saw in a Mickey Gall interview. Mickey Gall set to be CM Punk's opponent.
Yeah.
He said that CM Punk was not a UFC caliber fighter. Neither are you, Mickey Gall. You've had 2 fights. Chill out.
If you were to choose one or the other, like who is more realistically a guy that should be fighting in UFC? Is it CM Punk?
CM Punk because he puts asses in seats.
Well, that could be who's more realistic to fight in MMA, right?
Yeah.
Who's more realistic to be a somewhat capable challenge inside the octagon for UFC? And it's Mickey Gall. It's not CM Punk. But, UFC, good on them, too, for wanting CM Punk to fight. And
CM Punk has faced lots of MMA fighters. He faced Brock Lesnar. He faced Alberto Del Rio.
Yeah, how'd that match with Brock go?
Pretty good. I'm pretty sure he faced Bart Gunn at some point. I'm pretty sure. But speaking of, I'm not going to say speaking of who. Guys, keep a lookout next week. I have a new long-form feature dropping.
You almost gave it away right there.
Yeah, I did almost. I mean,
and I knew what you were going for too, but you stopped yourself. Good on
well,
you.
Yeah, I had to remind these people. Oh, by the way, guys, if you're watching on YouTube, leave a thumbs up. Subscribe to our YouTube page. Subscribe any way you can. Leave a positive iTunes review for us. All that stuff, it really helps. So thank you very much. Not much on Smackdown to talk about. There were 3 things I wanted to say. AJ Styles has taken a move that was like 4 or 5 on his depth chart elsewhere and made it a legit finish in the WWE, Rob.
Yeah, but I mean, look at one of the most popular moves in WWE history over the last 10 years. Rey Mysterio 619 was kind of a similar thing. And in fact, in WCW, the 619 wasn't even a move. It was when he would go out to dive on someone and the guy would move out of the way. He would swerve right back in the ring, and he made it an actual move, something that was flashy. I still don't think the name Phenomenal Forearm is any good because it's just too long. I mean, Styles Crash. They could have done something with the Styles name and it would have been perfectly fine. But I'm not going to, bitch and complain about the name of things. You get used to the names. But yeah, no, it's a legitimate finish. I mean, it's a flying forearm coming at your face. So if King Barrett's finisher can just be a regular spinning forearm, why can't AJ Styles' finisher being a flying forearm? Plus, he's got the submission move. So in these matches where something doesn't work and he has to rely on something else and that he goes back to the submission move, this guy has now a set of a few capable finishers that he's getting over, and that's never a bad thing.
Also, I want to say Eric Rowan has made some strides in the ring. Not like he's not good.
No, that's true. He has taken steps in the ring. Yes, he's usually walking from one corner to the other and back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's taking some strides in the ring.
You get it? Did you get it, Sean? Did you get the joke? He's taking strides in the ring.
Did you watch NXT last night?
I honestly, I tell you what, the last 2 weeks of NXT have been rough to watch because you know everything. You know what you're waiting for. You're waiting for TakeOver on Friday. I didn't necessarily have to see the killing of Bull Dempsey because he's been fired for a month. So I know
they killed him off.
They killed him off. And I did go back and watch the Elias Sampson musical act, if that's what you can call it. And I watched the Baron Corbin promo where he references Virgil.
Yes, that's the whole reason I asked you.
The most important parts of NXT last night, Baron Corbin on the mic. And I tell you what, we can joke about the Virgil reference and pop about the Virgil reference. That promo was awesome.
Yes. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was a great promo. Good for Baron Corbin. Awesome for the name drop.
It did more for this match than Austin Aries' little sit-down interview did, because if you're just a casual NXT fan and you maybe don't know who Austin Aries is, there's no reason to like Austin Aries. All you have to do is go in there and hate Baron Corbin, right? And of course, most people are going to know who Austin Aries is. So that's not as important. But
how do you think Aries will do in NXT?
I think Aries will do fine. I just, his sit-down promo, and he didn't knock it out of the park, and that's completely fine. You can't knock it out of the park all the time. But Baron Corbin certainly tried, and I was much closer. I mean, Baron Corbin giving you reasons to hate this guy, giving you reasons to go in there saying, God, I hope this Austin Aries just kicks his face off because, this guy is just talking trash for no reason. Talking about going to sign convention posters at, next to Virgil. Baron Corbin really sold that match last night. I think Aries will do fine. I think he's going to be involved in the Global Cruiserweight Series. I think with all of the guys who are possibly leaving in the next month or two from NXT, I mean, the spot's open for Austin Aries there to be a really top player in the game. So I think as long as he doesn't piss the wrong people off, he'll be fine.
Yeah, I think he'd be better suited as a heel. I don't think that he is as personally likable as some of their baby faces, but I think he'll do fine in the ring. You mentioned the Global Cruiserweight Series. Zack Sabre Jr.'s in it.
Well, and that's it may be a surprise to some. I find no surprise that I've been saying Zack Sabre Jr. was going to be in it since the beginning because it made all the sense in the world. What is surprising to me now, though, is that they announced him on this NXT conference call today that Triple H came out and said Zack Sabre Jr. is in it. And WWE.com has a story that Zack Sabre Jr. is the big top prize in this tournament of the current names announced. With Evolve and Rev Pro and now I'm blanking on Progress Wrestling in the UK, with these three groups promoting qualifying matches, for this Global Cruiserweight Series, I would have thought there was a lock that Zack Sabre Jr. was going to be in one of those matches, and that's how they kind of get the name Zack Sabre Jr. out there. That Triple H, the NXT guys, they go to Progress, say, hey, we want Zack Sabre Jr. in this tournament. We've booked Zack Sabre Jr. If you want to put him in a match on your show, because we know he's working this date, and call it a qualifying match, have him beat whoever you want, we'll get him in this tournament. Well, now you got you got all these qualifying matches that are going to happen at Evolve, Progress, and the other one, Rev Pro. Zack Sabre Jr. has already been announced. So in theory, he can't be in one of those qualifying matches now, right? In theory, it's got to be someone else. So what does that mean? That at least two more guys, or maybe even 3 or 4 more guys from the UK might be in this series. And, that's more than I thought we're going to be. I thought Zack Sabre Jr. was coming, maybe one other guy, and we got Noam Dar in the tournament. I thought maybe Marty Scurll might be in one of these matches, but that's probably it. I didn't expect 4 or 5 guys from the UK to be coming into this thing. And unless Triple H just spoiled one of the results of the qualifying matches by announcing Zack Sabre, which I actually give a 90% chance to, we're going to see some really big names from the UK, maybe even some new names.
Also, it looks like King Cuerno is trying to get out of his Lucha Underground contract, a 7-season contract.
Isn't everybody?
Because
they all love being a part of it, but for how long it is, for how long you're locked in. I mean, Ricochet barely could get back to New Japan unless he worked out his deal again. So yeah, it's crazy.
And Ricochet can get out of his deal after season 3, which is filming. So that'll be something to look forward to. But I don't know if he's allowed to appear on TV for somebody else. It may be different because of the Ricochet Prince Puma differences. I don't know. Also, big news this week, Rob. Rumors that John Cena could be cleared any day now.
Yeah, didn't I say this last week on this very show when we were talking about the rumors that he might be gone for a longer period of time, that he might be gone until July? What was the very first thing I said, Sean? Very first thing I said was, okay,
that he would be gone until at least August. That's what you said.
No, I said it was a lock he would work Mania. And then we talked about the realistic stuff, and I thought, if he's going to be gone that long, then keep him out until SummerSlam. Keep him out until then. But I always thought he was going to work this Undertaker match. Obviously, that's not happening. Shane's going to be in the match. John Cena is going to appear at some way at WrestleMania, I feel. And if this guy can get back in the ring, that Monday night, or maybe, early in May, work that first May pay-per-view, I would not be surprised at all. This guy's a freak. He comes back early. He's been doing all of these weightlifting videos. I feel like I'm talking a whole lot. I'm sorry. So I'll let you give your thoughts on John Cena.
Well, I mean, we always knew that was a possibility that he could come back because he is a freak of nature. Hopefully he can do something of note at WrestleMania. Like I said on Monday's show, I really wouldn't be opposed to him coming out there, getting challenged by some jabroni, like one of the social outcasts, hitting an AA, pinning him, and there you go. Because nobody's going to be like, how dare they run an unadvertised John Cena match that goes 10 seconds? It would make kids happy. It would get a little pop.
And it's worth a surprise because you couldn't advertise him ahead of time because you didn't know if he would actually work. So have him do a little AA on somebody. It's the whole Rock and Muhammad Hassan thing from WrestleMania 21, right? Just have Cena come out and do that. And if you want more information on Muhammad Hassan, go to WrestlingInc.com and read Sean Ross Sapp's long form on Muhammad Hassan. Worth the read, people.
He's going to be at WrestleCon this weekend.
Yes, he is.
He's going to be there reuniting with Sean Daivari for the first time in like 7 years, I think. That's pretty cool.
I always liked Daivari. Daivari seemed like he was going to be a bridge to get managers back in WWE, and then it never really happened. But, not because of anything Daivari did. I mean, he was just a victim of circumstance that Muhammad Hassan wanted to leave, and Sean Daivari kind of got forced out in a way, just nothing to do for him.
Yeah.
But John Cena at WrestleMania, if he's coming back sooner than later, I would not be surprised one bit to see him do something at WrestleMania, and I think it would be fun for the people.
Also, rumors that Cesaro may be cleared any day now, but I can say I know that as of I think it was yesterday, Dave Meltzer said that he was not cleared. So there's that. I believe if he is cleared, he's going to beg and plead to get into that battle royal. I would imagine he would.
There has to be some reason why they did this whole press release about the Andre the Giant battle royal being on the kickoff show. And then all of a sudden this week, it's no longer on the kickoff show. It's part of the real WrestleMania show. If they don't have some type of big surprise involved in this, I'll really wonder why it's not being held on the main show, unless it's just the fact that, okay, we really didn't want to put Ryback and Kalisto on the main show. Maybe the Total Divas had to be on the kickoff show for some reason, maybe as an tie-in, I don't know. But to me, there's some reason why this Andre the Giant Battle Royal is now back on the main show. And it's more than just, we changed our mind.
Yeah.
Would Cesaro be that big? Would Cesaro be a big enough surprise to kick that back to the main show, do you think?
With that crowd, yeah, I think so. And that's a really good observation, because I hadn't even thought about that, about all the flip-flopping they've done with the card and why they may have moved that. That's It's very interesting that you say that.
It's why I'm here, Sean. Every once in the 60 minutes of nonstop gas bagging I do, occasionally I'll have one little nugget. So you kind of got to pay attention to it. This is probably the best spot to do the DDP yoga because this is where the people are paying attention right now.
I give you props one time, and you run with it like that, and force me to segue into our sponsor.
Hey, it fits right here too, because if Cesaro comes back, this guy was using the DDP yoga to get on back. Those people with the shoulder injuries use this DDP yoga.
Somebody asked if we can get a promo bearing on it. No, guys, I still love on it, but not going to talk about it on the show for a little bit. DDP yoga, however, I will talk about them. As you saw tonight, AJ Styles outsmarted the likes of 4 very smart men on SmackDown in Bo Dallas, Adam Rose, Curtis Axel, Heath Slater. And he was able to do that because he was quick. He was limber. He was loosened up with DDP Yoga. Go to ddpyoga.com/Wrestling Inc. Get a great deal on the Max Pack. You've seen what it does. It helped change the lives of guys like Scott Hall, Jake Roberts. Even guys like Steven Richards have used it. I've mentioned a million times, Steven Richards at 40-something years old showed up and did a television title match with Roderick Strong a few months ago. Big into DDP yoga. Of course, Chris Jericho, John Cena. I bet John Cena's been doing that DDP yoga in preparation for WrestleMania, getting that rehab done. Also, if you check it out, be sure to tweet DDP. Tell him Wrestling Inc. sent you. Let him know that Wrestling Inc. sent you his way. Leave a few comments and stuff on your orders, things like that. Also, if you have not checked out the fantastic Resurrection of Jake the Snake documentary, I encourage you to do so. If you've ever seen his WWE documentary or Beyond the Mat, this is a fantastic companion piece and something that really, on its own, is incredible. But if you saw those and you were like, well, this ended in a very depressing fashion, I highly encourage you to check out the Resurrection of Jake the Snake, available on Vudu, Amazon, iTunes, PlayStation Network, Google Play, all of those formats. Great stuff. Also, if you happen to be in Dallas this weekend, which Wrestling Inc.'s own Raj Giri and Vince Russo are, go by DDP Yoga's workshop on Sunday. He's trying to get his record-breaking number of what registrants, I guess it would be, at this DDP Yoga workshop. Highly encouraged, as always. Love DDP's products. But go check that out. Sunday morning, WrestleMania in Dallas. DDP is doing a DDP Yoga workshop. But guys, I'm not going to push products on you all unless we believe in them. And everything we've advertised on this show, I believe in. DDP Yoga is one of those things that really helped me. And of course, helped AJ Styles overcome the titanic task of foiling the social outcasts tonight on SmackDown.
Yeah, you got to be 5 steps ahead to knock off those guys. I mean, those guys are ahead of the game.
Adam Rose bullying Curtis Axel is fantastic. He picks on Curtis Axel in like all of these promos, these vignettes, and I think it's great. Good for him.
Well, it's the best thing he's done on the main roster so far. So, I mean, just kind of go with it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me ask you this. So we were talking about John Cena possibly coming back. What would he do? We talked about Cesaro. And if Cesaro comes back, the Andre the Giant Battle Royal's 100% where he's going, right?
Cena?
No, Cesaro. If John Cena could do a number of things. Coming back for a 10-minute little squash and hitting an AA, maybe the most likely. If Cesaro comes back,
10 minutes?
10 seconds.
Oh, okay.
10 seconds.
Like yeah, I think Cesaro is Battle Royal bound if that's the case. They have all the entrants out there, and then his music hits, and everybody goes banana sandwiches, and you know he should win it too. Obviously, if he's coming back,
if he's in it, he should win it.
Yeah.
Yes,
I agree.
And I think because I was asking before we got off onto the DDP Yoga, I was asking, would Cesaro be big enough, a surprise big enough to justify why they would move that onto the main card? Now, if they're going to follow up with him, I agree with you. I think he is a big enough surprise to do that, as long as they do something with him afterwards. They can't just, Jack Swagger it again.
Let's be real. WrestleMania is like such a standalone event. Yeah. They don't treat it as if, there are so many things that happen on there and then nothing. I mean, celebrities are undefeated on this show. Maria Menounos and Snooki have wins. Lawrence Taylor have wins. So, I mean, I guess.
Michael Cole.
By the way, I had no idea Snoop Dogg had made that many WWE appearances until his highlight video. He's been on there a lot.
He's been on the show an appropriate number of times, more so than some of the other celebrity inductees.
I would say at least maybe a half dozen times from what I'm seeing.
Yeah, he's been around for a long time, this guy. He ain't some noob.
Indeed.
He ain't some new guy. So keeping on that theme, I know you're the host of the show and you got a schedule. I'm going to completely throw away the script right now for 1 second.
What script?
Because, the emails you send me and I ignore, John Cena, Cesaro. Well, let's talk about some of the other names that, we don't know what they're going to do if they're doing much of anything at all. What about Shawn Michaels? Where could Shawn Michaels show up on this show? And what, if anything, would he do?
I hope he kicks Stan. They do have Stan on the payroll.
Who?
Stan. You don't remember that?
What?
That segment from, I think it was Cyber Sunday in 2006 with Triple H. And Shawn Michaels is backstage trying to vote. And Triple H says that he's not spontaneous enough. And Shawn Michaels starts super kicking people. And he says, look, I just kicked Stan. And Stan was actually Ty Dillinger.
Yeah. No.
I want him to kick Stan.
I don't think that's going to work. I mean, I get it. There might be 3 people on the show that pop for that, you being all 3 of them somehow.
Somebody says it might be Stan Hansen. It might be a bad idea for Shawn Michaels.
Yeah. Yeah, that might be a bad situation. All right, so another Texaner, Steve Austin. Mm-hmm. You got all these guys who are going to be there in some aspect. It's not been like announced by WWE. The Rock has been, and that's the next one on our list. But Steve Austin and HBK both said they're going to be there, right? And they're going to be at this Access event. They're probably going to be on the show in some aspect. Do they do more than what they did with Hogan, The Rock, and Steve Austin at WrestleMania 30? Is it just like they come out for a promo and it's a fun time for 20 minutes? Are they actually going to incorporate themselves on the show? Is HBK going to be out there in the corner of Triple H? Is it going to somehow interfere in some way? Because you saw the new stip for the main event, right?
I wrote an article about it, Rob.
Yeah, so yes, you're on top of it. I know you know this. I'm just, I'm pitching it to you.
Yeah,
at least they did it 2 days before and not the day of, like Austin Rock from 17.
And there is an outside chance that was advertising that they made and maybe changed their mind. But I would imagine if that's up around Dallas, that they are going to keep that stip. By the way, in case you all didn't see, looks like a no DQ stip for that Roman Reigns Triple H match, which would be fine. Also, I think that the Michaels Stone Cold stuff is probably going to be a promo. Don't know.
The Rock is the big one because they've been pushing this appearance for 2 months.
He's cutting a promo, I would imagine. At this point, if they haven't promoted anything, it's got to be a promo. Or I would like to see is perhaps a Roman Reigns endorsement, and then Roman Reigns just spears the living shit out of him.
I thought if they want to turn the Roman Reigns heel turn into full gear, you spear the Rock at the end of WrestleMania. Yes, that is what you do. I was hoping you were going with the same thing I think is going to happen. We had the coach come in on Monday's Raw and do his little shtick with the New Day. Well, who is associated with the coach in WWE? It is The Rock. New Day has 3 guys. What happens if the match is over and there's a 3-on-4 beatdown, and who would save the day but Mr. The Rock? What if The Rock comes to help out the New Day at WrestleMania?
That's actually what Court Bauer theorized. That's what he thought. I don't think that would be a good spot.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be fine, but
I just wonder how they're going to fit all these guys in, because I hope that they fit them in with some of the current stars. Like they do something creative, and whoever they go with, I don't care. I hope they do something creative. I don't want to just see a promo with a couple of guys and then another backstage segment with a couple of guys. Like, I mean, do something new and maybe give the rub to some of the new guys. It's not going to be a match or anything, but let some of the new guys kind of hang in there with Steve Austin and Shawn Michaels and The Rock.
Yeah. Also, something else that at least our readers seem to show a lot of interest in. It seems like WWE's changing their mind with Braun Strowman, Rob. They have. He is no longer considered a lock, especially as we said earlier. I think Cesaro has a better chance of winning that battle royal than Braun Strowman at this point. I could be wrong, but it seems like WWE has changed their mind on this. They've obviously put him in the ring much less over the last couple of months. He was originally, for a while, not originally, but was pegged to face The Undertaker. That got dropped completely, and he's barely wrestled since then.
Yeah, I don't think Braun and The Undertaker was ever going to happen. At best, it was one day where Vince said, what if we tried to do Braun Strowman? And someone ran with that. I don't think that was ever going to happen because there were just so many. Brock and Undertaker was going to happen. And then you have people getting injured and things having to be shuffled. So there was always a situation where, okay, what if this guy faces this guy and this guy faces that guy? Was it ever a serious consideration? I don't think so. And
I would hope not.
Yeah, but Braun Strowman winning the Battle Royal, sure, because you know they like him, or else he's not being brought up to join the Wyatt family for no reason. So they like him. He's a big guy. He skipped NXT, which, you know, the new guys just don't do. All the new guys go to NXT and have to wrestle on TV. They're fighting for TV spots there. And Braun Strowman comes in after being hurt for 9 months and just gets the new spot. And all power to him because Braun Strowman, super nice, likable guy. But I think that kind of hurts him in his current role because he is such a super nice, likable guy. If you put Braun Strowman up against Austin Aries, you know, big guy versus little guy, I think more people want to see Braun Strowman crush Austin Aries. And maybe I'm wrong, but, you know, there's a difference in wrestling now where people cheer who they really see as likable and boo who they really see as not likable. That's what happened to Baron Corbin. You know, he was being pushed as super mega babyface. You looked at that guy, he didn't seem likable. So you push the guys that are going to what their personal kind of personalities are. And Braun Strowman, super nice, likable guy. Is he the best wrestler? No. Is he probably a top 3 candidate to win the Battle Royal? I would put him at number 3. Like if I had to choose right now, knowing what I know, I would put Bray Wyatt number 1, Cesaro number 2, and only number 2 because I can't put him at number 1 because we don't even know if he's in it. So I would put Bray number 1, Cesaro number 2, and Braun Strowman number 3. I don't think it's going to be the Big Show and Kane. That is all. That is just misdirection with Big Show and Kane, right? They always do the Battle Royal where, you know, Kane has the best chance and the Big Show has the best chance, but they never win. You know, last year Big Show won. That was his one. They never win. So this whole thing with the Battle Royal has been misdirection. It's
largely inconsequential too. So, and they know that.
Yeah.
So they could have anybody win that thing.
Yeah, Big Show threw out Damian Sandow last year, guys. This Battle Royal means nothing.
Also, I agree with you, by the way. I don't think there were ever any serious. I think that maybe if Vince was like, hey, we should push this Braun Strowman guy, enough people probably said, you know, he's not that special. Eva Marie came back.
She's special.
Monday. Boy, is she. So apparently Vince McMahon thought that this was going to be a babyface reaction. It appalls me. Somebody had to say, Vince, this ain't happening.
He didn't. And this is infuriating me for a week right now. This has been infuriating me for a week, Sean. You know why it's been infuriating me?
Why?
Because Dave Meltzer goes out and on his little radio show, and Dave Meltzer, good guy. Sometimes people think what his, you know, speculation is news because they can't tell it apart because he's not the best communicator in the world. Eva Marie was not going out there and the WWE brass thinking she was going to get cheered. It's just not true.
Based on the reactions of the divas that she was interacting with in the ring, I agree with you.
They had the divas go out there and make it known, and it was caught on camera. You had every single one. It was 100% known that Eva Marie is going to come out, do this save. The crowd is going to boo her. She is only on your team in name only. She is not on the team because she's one of you guys. there are 4 baby faces in that ring, and then there's Eva Marie, who is only aligned because they're on the same show. And that was 100% abundantly clear to me, mostly clear to everyone who was watching that segment. They did not think Eva Marie was going to get cheered. They sent her down to NXT to prepare this character that she's about to do here on the main roster, a girl who thinks she's a superstar babyface, yet actually is a really, a big heel that no one likes, but she's oblivious to that. So this is 100% what they wanted to happen, and it worked perfectly. And I'm fine with Eva Marie being in this match. I mean, look at what it is. It's going to be a 6-minute match on the pre-show where there's 10 women who are just going to have spot after spot after spot. It's not like Eva Marie is going to work 10 minutes, guys. It's completely fine. It'll tell their story. It'll play out on next season of Total Divas. It's 100% fine.
It might play out on the next season of Total Divas. It might not. Total Divas might not make it that long.
It might not make it that far, but I got to figure that if E doesn't want Total Divas, they're probably going to put it on the network in some shape or form. Maybe not even call it Total Divas anymore, but do something with that.
I don't know. I don't know that's not a cheap show to produce, from what I understand.
It's not a cheap show, but they produce Breaking Ground, and Breaking Ground was effectively the same show. Will it be different? Sure, but there's going to be some form of that show on the WWE network if E doesn't pick it up, and E's probably going to pick it up. I think they would. But Eva Marie, the story that Eva Marie was expected to be cheered and Vince McMahon is backstage like, oh my God, what's happening? That's not true. It's not what happened.
Were you backstage, Rob?
Yes, I was.
You were not. You were not. But based on
where was Raw? Where was Raw in Brooklyn? Sure, I was back there.
Based on the body language of Paige, Natalya, and a couple of the other girls, I would agree with that, because they definitely looked. They wouldn't do that on their own, I don't think, but especially in their spots where they're barely getting on the WrestleMania card for fear of what might happen to them if they go off the script. So.
The story was she's coming out to be the 5th member, but no one on that team wants her there. Every single one of them refused to get the arm raised by Eva Marie. They all know what she's about. This is a Total Diva storyline, and no one likes Eva Marie. That's the story.
Hopefully this ends in either Brie getting the win as she leaves, or Eva Marie costing her team and then getting stomped out by the 9 other women.
Yeah, I mean, I think especially if Lana, and going around access right now is that Lana is, going to be on the next season of Total Divas if it happens. Lana is, at the Total Divas booth. They're filming stuff with Lana and Total Divas right now. Okay. So yes, Lana's going to win. And whoever is no longer going to be on Total Divas is the one who's getting the loss there. That's what's happening.
Indeed. Also, in pretty big Diva news, it appears they are dropping the Divas title in favor of the women's title. This has been a long time coming, really. You had Medusa on there trying to poke her head in, posting pictures of the old championship. If I were her, I'd probably do the same thing.
Yeah, pour one out for Alundra Blaze being the 5th member of Team Total Divas, man.
Indeed. She was trying, man. She tried.
It was those hinting and that trying that really thought, maybe she's going to be there. Maybe she will.
Yeah. I really wouldn't mind if WWE brought her in on Monday to hand off a women's title. You know what I mean? Sort of coronate whoever went, if it's a baby face.
No, I could see them having Jackie, Trish, Lita, all the famous and past women's champions out there for a women's championship celebration. Now, if that happens, it can't be Charlotte retaining, right? And it may not even be able to be Sasha. If they're going to do a women's title and have the past champions, if you think all that is going to happen, then it's kind of got to be Becky Lynch.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I don't know. Sasha plays that emotional thing, doesn't play. She just is. She's just truly emotional about that stuff.
She posted a picture on her Instagram today of her crying outside of AT&T Stadium when she saw herself on the stadium poster. Yeah. No, she does.
I mean, she said in an interview recently, keep the fame, keep the money. I don't care about all of that. And, she's very aware of what fame to the highest magnitude is because, her cousin is one of the most famous music artists in America. She just wants to be great at this. There's something to be said about that. And she does that very well. I can't say plays emotional very well. She is. I think these 3 women really understand the gravity of the situation and what they're doing here. Good for them. I think it's good for the WWE recognizing this as well.
It is fantastic. When this whole Divas Revolution started and we saw the way they were going with all the teams and everything, it was hard to kind of imagine that they would get it right towards January and come back with this triple threat at WrestleMania. This is where it should have been all along, and they took the long road. But yeah, it's here and it's going to be great. And if there's any chance that Bayley ends up coming up on Raw at some point and getting involved in this, I mean, there you have the 4 horsewomen, and officially this division is in a new era. Whether they brought back the women's title or not, this division was going to be introduced to a new era come the Monday after WrestleMania. So it's exciting. You know, I don't know who can win. It's a toss up all 3 ways who can win this match. You can make a case for anyone. If I'm going out on a limb right now, I think Sasha Banks wins. But if you were to tell me that, yeah, there's a big angle for Raw planned where all the past champions are coming out, I would probably say Becky Lynch.
I'm very interested in this. I hope it actually happens. I mean, I hope it's not just some big magnificent hearsay.
Yeah.
This needed to happen for a while. I think they picked the right time to do it because, I mean, if they did it right as soon as the Divas Revolution started, it kind of would have seemed almost forced. You know what I mean? But now there are 3 women, 3 legit women who are, I mean, not to say that the other people who held the Divas title were not women. They indeed were women. But you know what I mean? This is more of a wrestling thing than a sports entertainment thing.
Yes. And it didn't even really break out of the Divas Revolution. The team thing just kind of ended. You know, Sasha left her team and then, you know, they got a new member in Lana in a way. And they just kind of just switched places, but we eventually just broke off to where the teams are out of the way. And now it's all 3 of these women going at it at WrestleMania. It's huge for all of them. You know, Becky Lynch was an airline attendant. She wasn't going to be wrestling anymore. You know, Charlotte only got into wrestling because her late brother got into wrestling. And Sasha Banks, who had been on the independent scene for a long while and really worked hard, another one who was not really on the high end of prospects in NXT. I mean, she worked her way up there. This is a really good story for all 3 of them. And it's a shame, really. I think it's been built up well enough. And we're probably going to get a really good video package on WrestleMania itself. It's just a shame we didn't see that video package in longer form on Raw and get a really good sense of who these 3 women are on the main roster, because we saw plenty of it in NXT. I would have loved to have seen more of it on the main roster. And hopefully that video package on Sunday is going to be excellent, which they usually are, Sean.
Yeah, they are. WWE's production team is outside of live action is top notch. Whenever they're not busy giving us seizures with their camera zooms. Also, somebody just sent me a message saying that Mick Foley is on Steve Austin's podcast.
Yep.
And said that he lost 50 pounds. And when Austin asked how, he said bang. And I'm not talking about Cactus Jack, my friends. He used ddpyoga.com/wrestling inc. Change your life, my friends. So, Rob, tomorrow night, NXT TakeOver Brooklyn.
NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. One last note. It has been announced. Flo Rida is performing the Welcome to My House song at WrestleMania.
I hope that he does whistle, and I hope Kevin Dunn sings it with him, because I've always heard that Kevin Dunn loves that song.
Welcome to my house.
Yeah, sure, man.
It's everyone's house. It's Paige's house. It's the Undertaker's house now. It's Flo Rida's house.
See, I wish Paige was a heel. That way, she could attack him.
Hey.
Actually, you know what? Attacking Flo Rida might make her the biggest baby face on the show.
Are you going to watch the Holy Foley show with Noel and Mick?
When does that come out? Have they filmed it yet?
Oh, I don't think so. I think they just announced that it was coming soon to the network. And, last year they did this around WrestleMania time, and it took, 5 months for us to get Breaking Ground. It took even longer to get Right Along. So who even knows? But Noel Foley finally in the fold, really, with WWE here for this show. They don't want her interviewing people backstage because she's taller than everybody. She is too tall. She's too tall. So let's get JoJo, who is the exact opposite. Yeah, Noelle's interesting. I mean, her brother is on the writing team now, a writing assistant. You know, she's dating a clown. It's a crazy fan. If you are a Chris Lee Knows Best fan, if you stay tuned to Raw and then watch Chris Lee Knows Best, or whatever,
then you are the worst kind of person.
You're the worst kind of person. But this is the show for you. This is going to be the exact same thing with Mick Foley. So,
well, you know what? With Mick Foley, I like Mick Foley. Always nice to me personally. Noelle is a very kind person as well.
What is the best after Raw show on USA or Spike that you ever enjoyed, Sean? What is the when Raw would end and there was another show on that you would actually stick around for?
So I have a sentimental pick. Well,
Okay.
The Ultimate Fighter. Probably.
I thought you might pick that one. Yeah.
But I will have to say, honestly, Burn Notice. And the reason for that is, and I don't look back on it as fondly, until about 2007, I just didn't watch a lot of TV. I would watch like South Park, sports, and wrestling and MMA. That was it.
Yeah.
And I happened to catch Burn Notice on after Raw. And that's because I grew up, probably like you did, in the 90s. There wasn't a lot of great like primetime TV back then. There was a lot of Monster of the Week shows, and the plot would reset every single week. That's not my type of thing. Burn Notice eventually became that, but it was basically like a new age MacGyver show.
Yeah.
And from there, I was like, okay, I'm going to start watching some TV, and I would get into like Breaking Bad and True Detective and things like that. But yeah, I'd have to say Burn Notice probably.
Yeah, I don't remember watching too much TV growing up until maybe I was like 11 or 12. Then you start getting into more of the TV. I would watch, Friday TGIF and Monday night when there was football on. And that was kind of it. I don't even remember what was on during the week. I don't think there was anything good. Home Improvement maybe was a show that I watched. But after Raw, yeah, because it was, what was the show? Now, La Femme Nikita was a popular one. There was Pacific Blue, I think, the one where AC Slater was on a bike.
Yeah, he rode around on a bicycle.
Yeah, rode around on the bike on the beach. Dream job, this guy. Those were the shows. I think when they got on the Spike, you saw a little bit more of the shows that I was into when I was that age. The Ultimate Fighters, the 1,000 Ways to Die type shows that you wouldn't necessarily need to really turn off your TV right away. You might catch the next show for 15 minutes. But I did love those early Raw when I first started getting into Raw, and La Femme Nikita was the show afterwards, because I'm like, man, are they showing porn after this Raw? It just looked like the maybe the sultriest show. I don't know. It looked like this La Femme Nikita was, just stopping guys in their tracks with her legs. I don't know if that's what was actually happening, but here I am.
Now we have people saying X Hamster and Pornhub are my favorite things to watch after Raw. Good job.
Hold on. I got to write these down.
Also, I have somebody saying, Sean, if you hate shopping, use Amazon. I do use Amazon, but for clothes and stuff like that, I hate going like clothes shopping. Somebody help me. I need one of these clothing subscription services to help me. If you're watching, contact me.
Is that EX Hamster or just Letter X?
Oh God.
Okay.
Will stop?
I'll try them both just in case.
We have somebody asking a question before we get into NXT TakeOver. What is your opinion on WrestleMania having too many no DQ matches?
Now let me rant on this. Okay, a no holds barred is not a no disqualification match.
It's true.
Which is why I'm so upset. No holds barred isn't a weapons match. WWE is making it so now, but no holds barred just means you can apply any hold you want. You can be in the ropes. You can use their teeth. You can do the fish hook. You can do any hold you want. You can't bring a pole in there and whack them with it. That's not a hold. What hold is hitting someone with a chair?
I agree.
It's not a no disqualification. Now a no DQ match is no holds barred, because what are you going to do? You can't stop them. So I don't like how they've turned no DQ, falls count anywhere, no holds barred, all of the Extreme Rules. All of these matches now are the same thing, but they really shouldn't be. They all have their own specific thing that they are, and that's what gets me. But you're right. There are a ton of different ways of saying no disqualification on this show. And of all the matches, AJ Styles and Chris Jericho, the match that probably should have a stipulation to justify why they're even having this match again, doesn't. just a regular straight singles match.
I agree. Somebody says, fish hook, are we talking about porn? No. Fish hook is when you take your never mind.
Can you see fish hooking on this exhamster.com?
Okay. Anyway, they are not a sponsor. We will not talk about them.
I don't know what it is.
NXT TakeOver Dallas. So
I'm a good boy.
Your boy Elias Sampson is facing Apollo Crews. Who do you think wins this?
I think Apollo Crews wins. But I don't know, because Apollo Crews lost to Baron Corbin.
He did.
Elias Sampson's been getting the push, bro. That's one for the count, one for the bro count, 2 now. I think Apollo Crews wins. But I also think there's going to be a ton of baby faces winning on this show. So I don't know if that's going to be the match where they kind of switch it up. I don't know. Apollo Crews and Elias Sampson, I'm intrigued for the match because I hope Elias does well. I'm probably one of the only Elias Sampson fans there are. I hope he does well. I just don't know how it's going to go. Apollo Crews will make damn sure it goes as best as it can. So I'm into it, but I don't know who's going to win. Gun to my head, I have to go Apollo Crews.
Yeah, I would say Apollo Crews as well. But it seems like they see something in Sampson, and he's been showing me a little bit more every single week. So there's that. This
is Baron Corbin disease all over again, right? You start off slow. The crowd doesn't know how to take you. You get some matches under your belt. You get some TV exposure. You go on these live events, and Elias Sampson's starting to build up a little confidence, starting to build up a little bit of a character here. And he certainly looks the part. I mean, this guy looks like he's just been, in strongman competitions, lugging around logs, doing some chopping of the wood there. And he looks the part. And he's got this silly guitar gimmick. That's why it's so weird. Like, I'm not going to hate on it because it's creative. It's trying something. But this guy doesn't look like he should be. I mean, this guy should be Lord Steven Regal. He should be the real man's man, not carrying around a guitar. But do what you do. When does he start hitting people with the guitar? Is Friday night the night where he starts hitting people with the guitar?
He'll have to hit him over the back. They're not going to let anybody get hit in the head anymore.
I know.
Actually, Vince Russo told me he got a concussion from getting hit in the head with a guitar one time.
Yeah, well, you saw situations where Jeff Jarrett would catch him wrong with the guitar because people don't know where to put their head exactly, and he's swinging wildly. He doesn't know where he's actually gripping it. It is dangerous. It's not this little breakaway guitar. It's going to go perfectly. It is kind of dangerous, and it doesn't break well over the back. So unless he breaks it over like their knee or something, what are you going to do?
I hope that Baron Corbin beats Austin Aries.
I see there's no way that Austin Aries wins.
I hope that's the case. That would Baron Corbin, I don't think Austin Aries is ever going to be a major player in the WWE. He won't. Baron Corbin might be.
Not in the WWE. I think he can be a top guy but let me ask you this. Samoa Joe and Baron Corbin at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. Who won that match?
Samoa Joe.
Did he? What big match did Baron Corbin win that I'm thinking? Oh, Apollo Crews. That's what I was. Yeah. Sorry, I was thinking of Apollo Crews. He beat Apollo Crews. They are not afraid to have these indie darling guys who are coming in, who are going to be cheered anyway, lose to Baron Corbin, who they want to, bring up as this indie killer guy. Like, this is our guy. This is the WWE mold of what we want a superstar to be.
We're going to have endless feuds with that guy. Yes. Automatically, he just goes from one to the other, to the next. I love that gimmick.
Yeah, there's always going to be the guys in. I don't think it really kills Austin Aries. He can go and still work his way up to being a top guy if they want to do that. The question remains is, what are they going to do with the title, and who's going to be the first challenger? Because Austin Aries is a guy who could be a early challenger for that championship. If that's the case, he has to win here. I kind of see this where they're going to do some type of tournament. We're going to get a tournament after the fact at TakeOver to find the next challenger for the title. So as long as you rehab the guy by winning a tournament, you're okay. Maybe Baron Corbin's going to be the next challenger. I don't know. But this match in particular, Baron Corbin has been proven why he should be a top guy in NXT, proven why he can be a top guy in WWE even. I'm high on Baron Corbin. I think he's going to win.
Most importantly, does Virgil get involved?
He's there. You see him bumming rides from the airport.
Of course he's there.
This guy, man. Is he going to be at NXT TakeOver? No. I think that's just a great promo by Baron. Who do you think fed that line to Baron Corbin?
I don't know, but it was great. I can't wait for the inevitable picture that we have on Instagram, like sometime in the next few years, of like Virgil with Baron Corbin and the $1 Million Dream posing.
Yeah, I don't like the visual, and maybe I'm old. I don't know. I don't like the visual of Virgil being a servant to the white tatted up guy. I don't know. But what are you gonna do? I don't know.
Moving on. Nakamura's got to beat Sami Zayn, right?
Yeah. No, Sami. This is his last night in NXT. He doesn't have to win this match. Have the showing at the IC title. I love it. You know, you have Shinsuke Nakamura giving interviews to Japanese media saying he hasn't been studying Sami Zayn tapes. He wants to go in there fresh with a clean slate, just like he did with AJ Styles. Because Shinsuke Nakamura didn't know what AJ Styles could do, and they had phenomenal matches. Go in there, blank slate, no pressure to do anything, but just ride it out. I'm interested to see where they place him on the card. I could see them going first. I could see them being stuck smack dab in the middle. Because I don't know where they're going to place all these matches. I don't know how high on the card Bayley and Asuka is going to be, whether it's the semi-main or maybe they put it on earlier to kind of spread out some of this stuff. I'm interested in the placement, but that crowd is going to go absolutely ape. And Shinsuke Nakamura, who interestingly enough is only called Nakamura in all these WrestleMania programs. And he kind of alluded to the fact that he may have to go to one name at some point. Shinsuke Nakamura, he's got to win. He's got to win.
I'm cool with that. I am probably more excited for this than anything of the weekend. I'm excited for his entrance, to see what his music sounds like, and to see the match. Yes. It's probably the most excited I am for anything this weekend.
I will agree. Nakamura and Sami Zayn is number one, but that's going to be number one. A lot of people who are listening to this, I think, are in the same boat. I think a lot of people listening to this particular show are going to be feeling that that's their most intriguing thing. Even if they don't know who Shinsuke Nakamura is, I think it's intriguing because you're going to see and find out who he is. But what would you say is number two? Because I've seen a lot of different range of what would be number two for the weekend. And we're only talking WWE stuff. We're not talking about some of the other non-WWE stuff. WWE wise, what is your number two? Because I have a number two clearly, but I've seen so many choices. What would your number two be?
Oh, man. Maybe Shane Taker, just to see what happens, but Ambrose Lesnar's up there for me.
Shane and Taker, the match and who's going to win. Because Undertaker was 100% locked to win until they had to add the Undertaker's last WrestleMania storyline, which a lot of people took as a guarantee that Undertaker would indeed win. To me, that's a guarantee that Shane's going to win. So I don't know how to play this. Somebody
brought up a great scenario. I can't remember where. What if...
Is it Shane could rehire him?
No, it's that number 30 in next year's Royal Rumble is The Undertaker, and he wins the Royal Rumble.
Oh, and he's forced into the main event.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good one, too. And that would be long storyline because you're left wondering, okay, he lost this. And you're like, when are they going to change it? When are they going to change it? And all of a sudden, he's just not back on TV for a long period of time. You forget about it. And then the Royal Rumble comes and number 30 is that's a good. I like that. Was it someone in the chat today or someone earlier on?
I saw it somewhere. I feel like I saw it somewhere. No, it was completely my idea.
Pick a name in the chat and give them the credit. Give one of our listeners the credit for that idea.
It wasn't in the chat. It was on Twitter today.
I don't care if it was. Give someone the credit in the chat room and promote that. Wrestling Inc. listeners, great idea.
Somebody who puts over our sponsors, I'll give them credit for it.
Or the next person to follow me on Twitter at Shake Them Ropes. That would see how I work that in there. I think the result of Shane Undertaker is very interesting because I take this approach where the result of that match also impacts the result of the main event of WrestleMania. If Undertaker wins, it's kind of left out. But if Shane wins, all of a sudden you have this situation where Shane is in charge of Raw. And Triple H is the champion and Roman Reigns is there. And maybe he wants to kind of decide who the champion of his show is going to be. I
believe the idea was from Sebastian Duve and Andrew Brassow.
They both had the idea at the same time?
Yeah, at the same exact time they sent it to me along with a message that said ddpyoga.com/wrestling inc is awesome. So
they were probably, in a session of DDP yoga when it just came to them because your mind is clear. Yes. No, I can see that.
They were doing the broken table and they were like, voila.
No, I can see that. We're running out of time. So let's get back to this NXT TakeOver.
Yeah. The Revival. Okay. The Revival versus American Alpha. This could be This could very well be the best in-ring match of the entire weekend. Anywhere. Ever.
It is so crazy because there could be 4 matches on this NXT show alone that could be the best match of the weekend. Revival and American Alpha, I think, has the best shot to be the sleeper match of the weekend because there are still some out there that just don't give Revival any credit and think they're boring and think they're small, think they don't deserve to be the champions. This match, I've seen it live. We've seen them both work on TV, Sean. We agree. The Revival, pretty great for what their role is. American Alpha is going to have that crowd electric for everything they do, especially the 1, 2, 3. That not only could be one of the sleeper matches of the night, but as far as crowd reaction of that night and at WrestleMania, could be the one of the best moments of the weekend too when they win, because they are winning. It's 105% that they're winning.
Yeah, oh, they should. This is their time. And when was the last time that really the most over team in NXT were tag team champions? When has that happened?
Yeah, I think I don't think there has been a situation where like the most over team. Ascension was kind of over just for their value and how long they were the champions. They were over in the aspect of they were credible. But as far as being like the most fan friendly team, because Enzo and Cass never won the titles, right?
Correct, and they should have in Brooklyn.
They should have, but instead they were in an 8-man, and that that was the way of keeping them out because they didn't want to give them the tag team titles, so you can't have them in the title picture at all. It's the same thing here. They didn't want to have them in the tag title picture here at WrestleMania weekend because we talk about all these guys who might come up. Enzo and Cass are, if I had to pick anyone from NXT going up and being a lock to go up on Monday, it wouldn't be Bayley. It would probably be Finn Balor. But it would also right behind them be Enzo and Cass. I
think we're seeing the Balor Club Monday.
I think we're seeing the Balor Club Monday. You got them teasing Carl Anderson at the gym. They're not going to be in NXT. Yeah, they're showing on Monday.
It's unusual. Carl Anderson, I like the guy. Buddy of mine. My DMs usually get answered by him, but I asked him if he could help me move a couch at like 8 p.m. on Monday see if he was busy, and I haven't heard anything back from him. It's really weird.
Yeah, that was really clever there. That was clever. If they show up all right, well, let's talk about Finn Balor, Samoa Joe. I don't think we missed a match. Oh, Bayley and Asuka. Asuka's winning, right?
I don't know. Not if Bayley's not going to the main roster, she might not. This could, if they stretch this out over a couple shows, NXT doesn't usually do that. They don't usually do the WWE thing where it's like, oh, we're gonna stretch a feud out over like 3 or 4 matches. They could do that, and if they stretch this out over another takeover, I don't think anybody would be upset over that.
I don't think they would be upset, and you have a really good main event. I just don't think they're going to let it kind of hang there. Bayley, ever since she won the title, has just kind of been there. I mean, she has the Nia Jax program. No one remembers that. I think the story with her was winning the title, and once she did that, it was kind of over. I don't care about her retaining the championship. The fact that she won it was the story for me. So move it on to Asuka. It's the same thing with Bryan Danielson, really. When Daniel Bryan won the title and he went into the program with Kane, I was completely fine with the program with Kane. If he lost the title at some point, great. The story with that was winning the championship. It wasn't defending the championship. It was winning it. Same thing with Bayley here. I don't know if she's going to go up Monday. I don't know if she's going to go up soon after that. But I'm fine even if
she's on the NXT tours after.
Yes. And even if she stays off, I think Asuka winning the title here is the right move. But I can absolutely see Bayley, being the fighting champion and just going through everyone. And maybe Asuka kind of turns on the crowd. Maybe Asuka's like, I came to NXT to be champion. This is my first roadblock because I've had it so easy. And maybe Asuka kind of goes bad. And that's your way of spreading out the feud. I can see that. So
yeah, they do. Go ahead.
No, you would say Bayley.
Yeah, they got to stretch this out because they have no depth down there right now. If Emma is on the main roster, that takes one away. Dana Brooke is hurt.
Yep.
Carmella is not up there in the ring, and she might be headed to the main roster soon too with Enzo and Cass.
She's part of the act, so if they move up, they're all 3 moving up. Yeah, I would absolutely.
Yeah. A year ago, I would have been like, they can go up themselves. Now Carmella's got to be with them.
So now if NXT, but if they are serious and NXT is going to be a new brand, maybe they don't bring up someone from developmental up to NXT. Maybe they send someone down.
Yeah, I could see that too. Yeah, I could, because they've been able to do that. And even as soon as somebody shows up in NXT who's been on the main roster, they do feel like a bigger deal than just anybody, even if they don't have the wrestling credentials that somebody else in that spot had.
It did wonders for Asuka. I don't know who you would send down. I mean, to be clear, I mean, Summer Rae is kind of like the only option, I suppose, if the Bellas are both gone and you have limited space already. Maybe a Naomi. Naomi can go down there. I think we mentioned that last week even. But yeah, I'm going to go Asuka winning here. I think there's going to be 3 title changes on the show, because when we talk about the main event, Finn Balor and Samoa Joe, I think Samoa Joe's winning too.
Do you think they need like a TV title or something like that on NXT?
No,
I don't either. I've had a million people ask me that. I just don't think it's needed. You
got a 1-hour show. The way they tape, you can actually have everyone who has a championship represented on every single episode. So you don't need a TV title. And then you got these takeovers. What are you going to do? Make every match a title match? Because on most takeovers, you only have the 5 matches. So now you're handcuffing yourself into making only title matches. I don't think it's necessary. They don't have a long enough show. They just don't need all of those championships.
Main event of the night, Finn Balor, Samoa Joe. I am of the belief that the Balor Club will debut Monday, and I think that Finn Balor's dropping the title here. I don't know how Finn Balor will do on the main roster. We get from a lot of people how much they hate repetitive wrestling, and I think Finn Balor, while his character is cool, he's got the unique look and all that stuff, he's kind of repetitive in the ring. It's always kick, enziguri, drop kick.
I think
repeat.
I think right now he may be, and this is not a shot at Finn Balor because he's really good, but when you talk about the top tier, the echelon of the greatest in-ring workers right now, I think Finn Balor is the worst wrestler to be considered a great wrestler.
I agree.
Because he is pretty repetitive. He's pretty simplistic. He's got the New Japan cachet behind him, but look at the New Japan matches. There were very few that were rated and praised very heavily. And when they involved Low-Ki, a lot of, Kota Ibushi, a lot of these guys who, of course they're going to go in there and have really great matches. I think he'll do okay if they bring up the Balor Club. As part of a group, I think that's his best opportunity. So if you're going to make Finn Balor work on the main roster, putting him with Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows in a group is probably the way to go. But if we both think Samoa Joe wins this match, because we're not going to, this isn't a Kevin Owens situation, right? Where he is still the champion when he goes up to the main roster and then loses it later down the line.
Yeah, I think they won't do that again for a little while.
Yeah, I don't think you necessarily have to either. So we're right there. If he goes up, do they start a singles program with him, or do they maybe take on a group like the New Day?
I see. Before Luke Harper got hurt, I could have seen it being Balor Club Wyatt family. I don't see that happening now, because they are not going to try unless they have somebody fill in for Luke Harper, because I don't think they'll trust Braun Strowman in the ring with those guys.
You know what I would love, and this is going to verge on the edge of fantasy booking, but also just I think it's the best thing for all parties involved. If Finn Balor, Carl Anderson, and Doc Gallows show up on the night after WrestleMania and punk out AJ Styles, because AJ and Jericho is probably going to be done at WrestleMania. So now you have AJ Styles with nothing necessarily to do. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, regardless of who wins the Intercontinental Championship, or maybe Owens retains it, Owens and Zayn are probably locking up throughout May. So what is Finn Balor to do if they don't go through the New Day?
Talk about a ready. And Balor is a heel. I'm behind it. I would be behind it.
This group going after AJ, like, you left us, you thought you could do better in WWE. Well, look at you now. We're going to punk you out, sort of thing. Because if you're going to cheer for the Balor Club, you also know the story of AJ Styles. So it's a ready-made feud for people to actually get and understand. And then for those who are unfamiliar, they can kind of play it up and tell everyone what happened. It's not hard. So I think a ready-made feud for Finn Balor to get everyone excited. And also to, Finn Balor, AJ Styles, really good matches down the line, I'm sure. But yeah, AJ and Finn Balor, I think, up against each other with AJ going against the Balor Club would be phenomenal. No pun intended.
Also phenomenal. Somebody said, I hope Gallows and Machine Gun get a show on the network. Could you imagine?
Yeah, if they were smart enough. if they were smart enough to do the antics of them, and I'm not talking, I don't think we envision them being on an episode of Ride Along, which would still be great. Give Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson some time. Give them a 15-minute show like Corey Graves had. Just give them some time. I
agree. NXT TakeOver Dallas tomorrow night. I will be here. Rob will not be here. He's big shotting us. He will not be on the show.
I'm not big shotting you. I had a previous commitment. You can find out what that previous commitment is at Shake Them Ropes on Twitter, because I'm not allowed to say. I respect the rules.
I didn't make those rules, but
someone did, and I respect them. So at Shake Them Ropes.
Well, I think you just got more people to find out what it is than you would have plugging it on the show. So, because now you have people, you have that aura of mystery.
Oh yeah, I have the aura of mystery. Yeah, I wish I did. This is why I'm trying to grow out this beard that can't actually grow.
I shaved mine.
I need to, man. This is awful. I can't believe I go in public looking like this.
My fiance asked why I did, and I was like, there's too much of a contrast between my dark beard and my white skin, because it's been a long winter here. As soon as the sun comes out, I tan quickly. But I will be here tomorrow night after NXT TakeOver. Myself and Vince will be here Sunday night. Raj will call in live from Dallas. Be sure to join us. It'll probably be after midnight tomorrow for NXT TakeOver.
12:30 a.m. Yeah, it's 12:30 a.m. Eastern when this show is scheduled to go off the air. So 12:30 a.m. Eastern.
I'm excited.
I'm getting live reports. My buddy Joe Lanza is at the NWA show. There's an NWA show happening in Fort Worth, Texas, as part of this weekend. They went on Thursday to try and be out of the crowd of all the WWN stuff and all this. This NWA show drew about 300 people, which was their sellout, and apparently a really good show. So maybe the NWA down in Texas can continue to garner a little bit of buzz. So good for the National Wrestling Alliance.
They find a way every decade to latch onto some major promotion.
You know who's on this show? Rob Conway is on the show. Still a stalwart in the NWA.
But yeah, obviously in the 80s and early 90s, it was WCW they latched onto. For a brief period, it was ECW. Later in the 90s, it was the WWE.
Oh, yeah.
The early 2000s, TNA. Mm-hmm. Then this decade, it was New Japan Pro Wrestling. They find a way to hang around and to get their title matches on big pay-per-views. Every decade, they find a way.
Got to be that promotion that kind of markets yourself a little bit differently and finds, that little hole you can sneak into. It's how ECW grew. It's how they always grew. You got to be good at marketing. That's what it is. You see all these indie promotions nowadays, promoting the Instagram and doing all of these crazy things you can do. Intergender wrestling was a big one. We're going to be the first to really promote around intergender wrestling. That's what a lot of people went to, I think, last year. And now you have, I don't even know. Now what you have is just hoping for a tie-in with WWE, right? I mean, this is Progress Wrestling, getting their most buzz right now ever, all because WWE is going to promote them. It's amazing. WWE promoting these indie shows. So it's the age of the indie. We're back at the age of the indie. Early 2000s was when the indies really came up. And here we are at another age of independent wrestling.
I agree. Yeah, guys, tomorrow night, join us. Of course, visit ddpyoga.com/wrestling inc. Treat the people over there. Let them know that we sent you. Support the podcast. Rob, any parting words to our viewers?
No, thank you for watching and listening. If you are one who hasn't gone to Dallas yet, but is going to Dallas, I hope you have a safe trip. I had a lot of Pepsi today, so I'm sorry if my caffeinated self was a little hyper talkative. I will try to do better next time, but I want to thank everyone for making my first month here at Wrestling Inc. a fun one.
Guys, we will see you tomorrow night. Well, I'll see you tomorrow night. Rob doesn't care about you.
That's not true. I love you all. In fact, I love you so much that I'm letting your weekend go without having to look at my face.
Red button.